What do you dream about, John? Like since you can, as far back as you can remember, what's been the one reoccurring theme in your dreams?
Wow, that's a really good question. They've always been about people, and it's always been about business. In fact, I was just writing someone today that the whole thing about business just truly fascinates me. I mean, everything from the psychology of marketing to the way score is kept to the way that people can actually create products or services that like influence millions of people. That's just, it's always fascinated me how that works.
Mm-hmm. Me too. In fact, I was.
I know, shocking for both of us.
I know, right? Well, I've been playing around with this. I get into these. I don't know if they're ruts or whatever, but I get stuck on an idea that is usually not a very helpful idea. Usually, it's like, oh, there's the problem. And it's not like focus on the solution, it's focus on the problem.
Right.
And my most recent one is that, people, for the last 5 years, I've been working with clients on improving their social media, which is great. Good for me. Yeah, I get to do that. And but what I've got, my new problem is that when people call me, they think they have a social media problem, but in reality, they don't have a social media problem. If they're calling me, they don't have a social media problem. But they're calling me for that, and that's been something really, really difficult for my business, is wanting to go and do this and help people in this particular area. And all of my business has been inbound. It's all been referral, or it's all been from activity that I put out, and then it's returned, client inquiries so that I can follow up with leads and get new clients. But what's been interesting about this whole you don't have a social media problem is that now when somebody calls me and they say, hey, I have a social media problem.
You don't have a social media problem.
The first thing I want to know is show me in your business plan where now is the time you call me and say, according to my business plan, we have to get our business on social media. None of them do. Nobody calls a social media person and says, hey, we were looking at our business plan and we realized that the next line item for us to check off is to get our business to a rock solid position within Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So we thought we'd give you a call because somebody referred you. Nobody says that. And I say, where in your business plan does this fall? And they just look at me with blank stares like, my what?
Yeah, what business plan?
Exactly. And so if you think you have a social media problem, take a look at your business plan.
Well,
that might actually
and the same thing is like websites. I mean, how many people, hey, I need a website. I've got a business, I need a website. And my first question is always, okay, what do you want to do with it? Well, I need a website. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. How's it going to help you? Well,
what do you want to do with it, right? I mean, like, what do you want it to do for you? They don't know how to answer those questions. Right. That's why they hired you, the professional. Go build me a website. But then the problem of them discovering once the website's built that it wasn't built exactly for what they needed it for, because they couldn't answer those questions and now they can. It's your fault that it doesn't answer those questions, that it doesn't solve those problems for them.
Yeah.
I was in a meeting yesterday. The client says, their 2015 goals for their social media is to show the path from somebody liking their Facebook page to revenue. And it's like, did you just fall out of the sky? Did you crawl out from a cave? Do you have no idea how this works? Because nobody likes a page and then follows that through to, you can do it, but it doesn't start on Facebook. It starts on the website, right? And it starts 6 months ago in planning on how we're going to drive traffic.
Yeah. No, you can sort of technically show that, but it's meaningless because people are coming to you from all kinds of places. At least they should be, and not just from Facebook. So I get it. Like, people want to find out what the ROI is, but I think the real thing they need to be measuring is, are they engaging with their customers? And Facebook and social media is a part of that, but that's not the only thing that they're doing to engage in social media.
Right.
We were at that the freelance conference a couple weeks ago, and I think that's really one of the things that who was the presenter? Brennan was talking about, which is, hey, I go in and I go build me this website, and the first question that he asks is, okay, what's the revenue you expect to generate from this? And if they can't answer that question, we're done. But conversely, if they can answer that question, then, if the customer really thinks that they're going to generate 10, 15, 20, $100,000 of revenue, well, now all of a sudden, this is not a $1,500 website. This is a $15,000 or $20,000 website. And now we have a goal that we can build to. So we got something tangible that this website is actually doing. And I mean, I know some people can talk, well, I want X number of visitors, but if those visitors aren't turning into something, the lines between social media and your website are pretty blurry as well. I mean, it's all kind of your marketing campaign.
I was just reading a thing yesterday about the value, they called it the vanity metric, right? And the vanity metric is, I want traffic to my website. I want Twitter followers, but it's like, well, but what does all that do for you? I mean, I can generate traffic to your website. That's, give me 48 hours. You'll have all kinds of traffic. You'll have regular, consistent traffic.
It all comes from Russia and China and Eastern European countries.
Yeah. You're going to get lots of Twitter followers. Trust me, you're going to be in the hundreds of thousands, but none of them are going to care about anything you have to say or tweet about. And you're going to probably be pretty embarrassed if anybody goes and looks and sees who's following you.
Do you go through and like unfollow people? I mean, either personally or professionally. Is that something you do after a while?
Well, obviously, I follow people so that I can get to know them. And if once I get to know them, I don't like them, I'll unfollow them. But I don't do it. That's not a strategy I've ever condoned as being something that you should do. As your ongoing aggressive strategy, is because they call it churn. You follow 100 people, 13 of them follow you back, so you go and unfollow the ones, and then you follow another 100 people, and it's definitely a strategy that marketers use. It's not one that I condone, because if I want to get you a lot of followers, yeah, it's a strategy that would work over a rather short period of time. But if I want to get people who actually care about what you say, or want to engage with you, or want to have a dialogue with you, or care about you and follow you whether you say anything or not because they're just a fan, and that's really hard to do because businesses out there, just dogs. I mean, nobody wants to follow you unless you're, sexy and cool. And if you're not, getting people to follow you because for the right reasons is very difficult to do, at least in the masses.
How do you work with people that are maybe traditional bricks and mortar stores, and how do you work with them to help them have a following? I mean, why does someone want to go follow, XYZ bookstore or whatever?
All of a sudden, this is becoming a console, John, but I like the way this conversation's going. I'll give you a great example. I'm working with a day spa right now. They're amazing. They're an amazing day spa. Rave reviews. The women that go there love them. The few men that go there love them probably don't vocalize it as much as the ladies do. So how do I work with them? Well, we try to create a sense of community. We try to say things that matter to the people not only within that micro community, for example, Westlake, but to also the people that have literally been in there before, and to talk about the experiences they're familiar with. The people, get them, if you're doing things right as a brick and mortar business. For years, I managed for Starbucks, and I knew my client's name, and they knew my name. And I took the time to go sit down with them and have a cup of coffee on occasion to get to know them a little bit better. So when they came in, I knew more than just their name. I knew how their wife was doing. I knew how their parents were doing. I knew their kids' names, developed these relationships with them. And so that's what I'm trying to translate from me to my clients, is that if you are taking the time to get to know who your clients are that are coming into your brick and mortar business, they're going to come back. Social media is just a way of remaining connected to them regardless of whether they're standing in front of you or not. You can do that through a lot of other ways. You can call them, you can email them. Social media is just a really nice way to kind of be exposed to what's going on in their world. Hey, I like your Instagram picture of the fact that you're on vacation. I didn't know you were on vacation, and it looks like that would be a place I'd like to go. Tell me more about your trip, from a business perspective, right? And so, I feel really connected to this business owner now, not because I go and I buy products and services from them, but because we're building a friendship. And I think that's really critical for a lot of businesses, that they just don't get that. Yeah. They want the mass scale of social media, right? They want to tweet something and have 3,000 people run down to their cupcake shop and tear the door off the hinges. And that's just not the reality unless you take the time to develop a relationship with 3,000 of your customers. Then it's possible.
I think that they need to understand kind of what their own business model is. I mean, if they really had 3,000 people come breaking down their door, they wouldn't be able to serve those customers in the first place. So it's sort of it's an unrealistic expectation for them to continue with that.
It goes back to the business plan, right? They get these ideas, but they don't ever sit down and plan out how to actually make them happen. They just hope. They go create a Twitter account because it's free, and they tweet 13 times, and they realize, nobody's retweeted them and nobody's followed them, and so it obviously doesn't work, and so they give up and they move on. But they don't realize that the Twitter has nothing to do with it. It's the people on the other side of the app, right, that talk back to you. That's what matters. Well, I always, you're doing the Twitter challenge, right? You're not.
I am. I'm over 100. I'm not to 1,000, but I'm definitely in the triple digits now.
You're taking the extra long scenic route to get there. But I'll tell you, the fastest way to get to 1,000 tweets is to get into a conversation with somebody. That's why I tell people go tweet 1,000 times, because I know people that are just going to go say 1,000 things are never going to get there. But if you go and talk to 200 people and you say 5 things to those 200 people, you're going to tweet 1,000 times, right? Or go talk to 5 people and say 200 things to each of those 5 people. You're going to tweet 1,000 times. And the relationship and the connectivity that you're going to have from that engagement, you're going to go, oh, I get this now. It's not about what I say. It's about who I touch. It's about making a connection and not making a tweet, right? It's not about 140 characters. It's about resonating with somebody in 140 characters. And I want people to get that, but I spent years teaching people this, and they didn't do anything. And so in order to get people just to take action, I send them that article that Kristen wrote, and I tell them, hey, go tweet 1,000 times.
So maybe I should go through my followers and just, tweet 5 of my followers and say, hey, what are you doing today?
Yeah. I mean, it's easier than that, right? Go to your news feed and just find the last 10 people that tweeted anything and reply to them. Or actually just go reply to the 10 meaningful things that you can reply to. And if you just did that once a day for 3 months, you'd tweet 1,000 times. I mean, but by then you'll have so many people that would have replied to your reply that in no time at all, you would have, within a couple of days. There's a great book, a guy named Scott Stratton wrote a book a couple of years back called Unmarketing, and he had late 2007, late 2008, something like that. At the end of the year, one year, he decided he was going to give up on Twitter. But he was going to give it 30 days. I'm just going to give it 30 days, and I'm going to use the tool, and at the end of 30 days, if I still think it's a dog, I'm going to walk away. And he tweeted, on average, 200 times a day for 30 days. He gained 10,000 followers. This was back when there were not that many people on Twitter, right? It was brand new. He gained 10,000 followers in that 30 days. He got consulting clients. He got a book deal. He got speaking gigs, and he got it from resonating with people on Twitter, not from tweeting stuff, but by getting on there. And the 200 tweets a day, it was a dialogue. It was an engagement that he was having with human beings on the other end. And whenever anybody on the other side of his conversation responded to him, their followers were able to get to know him, and then they started to follow him, and that's how his numbers began to grow and grow. If anybody were to say, what strategy would you recommend, I would say, go tweet 200 times a day for the next 30 days and tell me it doesn't work. Tell me you can't get whatever it is you're looking for out there, because you're going to build your network, you're going to make connections, you're going to get lots of opportunities, open doors, and people are going to get to know you, and it works.
All right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do 200 tweets a day for the next. I'll do it for a week. I'll do it between now and the time that record the next episode.
So 200 a day is for 5 days. That's 1,000. So for the next 5 days, get to 1,200, right? Because you're just shy of 200, right? Or
That's
you're
right.
over 100.
I'm 204.
I guarantee you, if you do that, you're going to see so much value in it that you're going to keep doing it. Remember when we talked to Pastor and we were talking about how it being a dialogue? Yeah. It's hey, if you're watching this, go back and check out whatever episode it was when the tyranny of the
tyranny of the urgent.
We talked to Pastor Kermit Bell, and we talked about Twitter, and we talked about how it's not about what you say, it's about resonating with people, and you can do that very, very quickly with just a thank you tweet, and you don't have to deliberate over what you're going to say on Twitter. You just go and talk to people. That easy.
Cool. Thanks for listening to the John and Joe Show, sponsored by BigManInRealEstate.com. We want you to be part of the show, so connect with us at JonAndJoeShow.com and on Twitter at JShober and at Joey McGurr.